what does it look like with the risk for ransom type ware? So like when you think about the ransoms that are being paid to these big corporations, is it only the big corporations, or does sometimes the smaller individual, like a community practice or a hospital? I mean, do those kind of attacks happen there as well?
They do, yeah. So when you're talking about large organizations, they do get attacked. Attackers know that they've got money to pay out. But what's happening though is that they're breaching these organizations through a data partner, through a third party, someone that's smaller that has a weaker security posture. So that's how they're getting into these large organizations. Smaller organizations, they don't think that they're a viable target, but they are. Those folks are also at risk for being breached.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's absolutely something that's happening. Is small organizations are being breached because they don't have as sophisticated of a cyber posture.
And we hear a lot of scenarios where you've got folks in healthcare, there's dental offices, there's regular practitioners where they are being brought down and held for ransomware. And so they've got to pay in like cryptocurrency and whatever in order to bring up their systems. The risk is they don't have the in-house expertise. Let's say they don't have a legal representative that is specialized in cyber to go in and negotiate with the attackers and the bad actors. They don't have that. That's not in place, and for the most part. And so it's not like you can call your attorney, that you deal with for commercial situations, to suddenly say, hey, I need you to negotiate my ransom attacker. And so they'll go and they'll try to deal with it themselves, and they've got no guarantee that they're going to come back up. And so they'll go through that crypto transaction, typically send over that money, and then just hope that everything can be brought up. At the same time, they don't have the expertise in-house to look at the scenario and say, we've been brought down and held for ransom. Do we really need to pay that? Because do we have another way to bring ourselves back up and mitigate, from an offense perspective, or a defense perspective, sorry, are we able to mitigate that breach that we've had? Ransomware, Rusty, exists everywhere. It exists with individuals like you and I and T, right? It exists with small, medium, large organizations, enterprise. It's at every level. There are no scruples, and no one is, can avoid that risk.
Yeah, I think that's an awareness message. That's powerful, that people have to understand that, look, it's not just the oil and gas industry. It's not Target. It's not these other breaches that, make the headlines of the news. It can happen at any level. And I think that's really important for people to understand, whether you're a one doc solo practitioner or a large practice that's part of a larger group like an aggregator. It's important to know that you can be hacked at the individual level, and you don't have to be the biggest fish in the pond to get attacked.
Right. And held for ransom.
Yeah.
Yeah.